Roger Vanderberg and Corwin Spivey of the New York Urban League. Thank you for being on the program. It's a pleasure having you here. We're finding all about what it takes to get a job and what are those areas. Mr. Spivey, you were about to tell me before we went on the break. What are the areas that people who are watching this program, and they're looking for a job, what are the areas that they should be looking at right now?
Well, I think the first thing that they need to do is take a look at themselves. What can I do? What can I do? Some of the hot markets that are really hiring, of course, the first I mentioned earlier is the CDL, driver's license. So if you have a driver's license and you can turn that driver's license into a CDL, you can drive trucks, FedEx, UPS, Fresh Direct. There are tons of companies.
And there are jobs there now.
And there are jobs there now, and they pay well, anywhere between $35,000 to $40,000 starting, and they can go up as high as $60,000 depending upon the.
Good information. Where else? Where are the area?
Healthcare is also one that's growing. You wouldn't know it by looking at some of the hospitals who are on freezes, but healthcare is a huge area. Nursing assistants, CNAs are big. Also looking at some of the customer service positions. They are also in demand. Bank tellers, even though a lot of banks are closing, there's still those types of positions that people without a college degree, you don't need a college degree to get these jobs. You have to have good customer service skills.
Tell me a little bit, give me an anecdote of one of the guys, or one of the people that you have helped, not necessarily a guy, but a lady, who you have helped get a job at the Urban League.
Well, we had a client come through who, he was an ex-offender, and he got his, piggybacking on what Mr. Spivey talked about the commercial driver's license, he gained his commercial driver's license, and we were able to place him at Accessoride. Accessoride is, the service that picks up elderly or invalid people. And he's so happy. He came by the job, drove his bus by the job, just there's some documentation that we usually ask him to submit. And he came by the office, and it felt so good personally and morally to see him.
Do you get that? Do you get people coming back every once in a while saying, hey, listen, by the way, you got me a job and I'm grateful?
Yes. I've had people who have been in drug facilities who they're in that facility, that's where they live, and they want to get out, and one of the ways that they can get out is through employment. And that has happened for them, and they come back and they call and they send people. That's one of the other things that we're happy about when we see success in a client, is that they refer other people to our office, and we can help those as well.
So it keeps going on and on.
Absolutely. The best recruiting tool is a positive word of mouth from one client to the next.
So again, let's get back a little bit to the economic crisis nowadays. How is that hurting your organization? Does it hurt the organization in terms of funding?
Yes.
Is there government cutbacks in terms of funding that you get?
Our agency, we really rely on corporate sponsorships. We really go out and pursue corporate sponsorships. So when the economy gets bad like it is now, those corporations, they really tighten their buckles, and so we do suffer when when these type of times happen. Of course, the public funding is even tighter, and so it's really a challenge for us to really find the funding to stay afloat. We've been fortunate that we've been able to be in 3 locations, and we hope to be able to expand that as we move on. There is a definite need throughout New York City. One location is in Harlem. We're at 204 West 136th Street. The other location is in Brownsville, Brooklyn at 444 Thomas Boylan Street, and our Bronx office, which is at 1530 East 222nd Street.
And since we're mentioning the Bronx office, what is the phone number where people can call and reach out to you, people in the Bronx who are going to be watching this program?
Well, they can reach us at area code 718-944-3734.
Repeat that, please.
That number is 718-944-3734.
Okay, and let's say that somebody just heard that number, wants to call you. What is the procedure from that point on? You would tell them, come in and do what?
Well, the first thing I would find out if they, what their schedule is like, when they can come in for an appointment. The next thing I would do is tell them about the documentation that we ask them to submit. And one of the first thing is the resume. We like to see a resume and take a look at that and see what their interests are.
Okay, all right. I'm glad you brought that up. What happens if the person doesn't have a resume, never wrote a resume? Is there a training for preparing a resume?
I've actually had clients like that. We've had clients, as I said, it's 18 years of age and older, so I've had clients who are 18 years of age and who don't have work experience. So we sit down and we develop a resume for them. When you have clients who have no work experience, then what we want to do is play up their education. want to play up the fact that they are gaining some academic experience or background, and that'll play into what type of career they like to get into.
But do you need a resume nowadays for every job? If you're going to apply for a job as a truck driver, do they still want a resume?
It depends on how you apply for that job. Most of the employment applications now are online applications, and if they do online, they're going to want to see a resume. So whether you're a truck driver or a professor, you're going to need a resume at some point.
When you do an online application like that, there's usually a form that they also have to fill out online?
There's application, yeah, there's an application, and then you upload or attach your resume to it. So one of the things that we do we help them put their resumes together. A lot of people have resumes that they haven't done in 4 or 5 years, and they bring it to us, and we critique them.
Or plays up the wrong
right,
stuff.
exactly. And so, all of our staff have been trained into putting together, resumes that look professional, that employers will say, I want to interview that person. Because that's the job of the resume, is to get an interview.
Mm-hmm. And what is it that, let's say that this is the resume, and what is the information you tell them should be on there, and in what order, right?
Well, the first thing obviously is your contact information. You have to have that the first in the center part of your resume. You have to have phone numbers that's accurate, address that is accurate, an email address that is professional and conservative, nothing wild.
Yeah, because they do have wild email
Absolutely.
addresses.
Yes,
And so
yes.
you can start with an objective, depending upon if you want to pinpoint an area that you want to get into. You can start with an objective. And depends upon if you have some work experience, you can put your work experience first. If you don't have much work experience and you want to put your education first, you could do that. That's an individual call there based on what you have to sell, what's going to be attractive to an employer, because it's still, you're trying to convince somebody to interview you. So those are the things that we try to work with each client. And each client comes in, we work with them individually.
But you also have workshops, group things where you train, like how to prepare a resume, or have training like of this sort?
Not so much with resumes, because resumes are very personal. They're one-on-one. But as far as interview techniques, job search techniques, those types of things we do in group settings, because you can sit down and basically give that same information to a larger group.
So when you have these classes scheduled, people call up and you'll tell them, listen, you can benefit from this
Absolutely.
one. Coming up?
Yes.
Is there a schedule of events that you put up and that kind of stuff?
Not yet. We haven't put the schedule up yet. We're working on that now. We're just trying to figure out what's the best day to do them.
And what about a website? Is there a website
Yes.
where people can get more information?
There is a website, www.nyul.org.
NYUL.org.
Right, and we have on our website we talk about our employment services. And another unique feature with our website, we have a co-branded site with Monster.com. And so people who go onto our website and want to register for employment opportunities can register on our co-branded site, and they'll get direct email hits of positions that match what they're looking for. Now, this is someone who has a resume who's pretty well polished and can, just basically upload and put their resume in and register on our co-branded site. We don't recommend that people do that. We want you to come into our offices. We want to critique your resume. We want to make sure that it is polished before you put it up. And we'll put it, and once that's done, we'll put it up. And you'll get email alerts of any positions that match what you're looking for.
So I bring you a resume, and you look at it from the perspective of the employer.
Absolutely.
You look at it as if, okay, is this what? If I was the employer, is this what I need? Is the information here what I'm looking for?
Absolutely.
And then you'll critique it. Okay, I see.
And then make recommendations on how to change it, and then once it's changed, then we can start sending it out. We don't want to send a resume that's not going to win. We want a winning resume.